In this video, I will be sharing the 17 best print-on-demand websites that you can get free traffic from just by uploading your designs or products. Thousands, even millions of people visit these websites every month, so that means you don't need to promote on social media, no paid ads, no influencers required. Just create an account on these websites and upload. I've personally used a lot of these sites before and make money on them myself, so I will be sharing my experience where relevant. Now, one of the websites on this list is going to be extremely surprising to a lot of people because it's a very well-known platform. Like, all of you have definitely heard of it before, but not many people know that you can get free marketplace traffic just by uploading to this platform. And I'll be proving that by showing you some of my own sales that I've made. Now, you might think that 17 is a lot already, but technically there's actually more than 17 platforms in this video because some of these websites have multiple ways to sell POD or multiple traffic sources to their subdomains, and you'll see what those are as well. Now, for each of these sites, I'll be talking about what kinds of products they offer and what sells well typically. I'll be showing you how much traffic they get per month and whether they're spending on ads and their social stats so you can see whether they're paying to bring traffic to your designs, and finally how to get started selling on it today. I'm definitely willing to bet there's at least one website you haven't heard of on this list. Let's get started. First up is Spoonflower. This is a site that lets independent artists sell patterns on fabric, wallpaper, home decor, and other such items. Now, when you upload a pattern to Spoonflower, they put them on items like pillows, blankets, duvets, and other things, as you can see in the sidebar here. So the main categories are fabric, wallpaper, living, decor, and dining, which you can see in the top bar here. Now, if you're wondering how to make pattern designs, one way you can do it is using Photoshop if you have that. So you can use the pattern preview function in the view tab, which lets you see the balance of your pattern a lot more clearly. I use this as well. Much easier than trying to sort of slice pieces up and position them and make them fit together. Now, if we go to the inspiration section to get an idea of what their best sellers and most popular products are, we can see that boho patterns and geometric type patterns sell really well. Also, like cartoon animals. So those are some ideas of what people like to buy on this website. They get 2.45 million visits per month, which really isn't bad considering it's a website for patterns, which is a niche kind of design style, although patterns are pretty popular on most products in general, right? They're currently running 11 Facebook ads at the moment, so this is traffic that they're paying for on your behalf as well, bringing all this paid traffic to sellers like you at no cost to yourself. So to start selling on Spoonflower, go to spoonflower.com. There should be a small join button in the top right. That should take you to this page where you can register and start uploading. Second website, we have Fair, which I've been personally keeping a close eye on recently, and I'll explain why. Now, I first heard about Fair from Ryan, who's a friend of the channel.
And Fair is more of like a B2B marketplace. So like she's running a business. She's selling mainly to retailers that have like physical retail space. So the MOQs, like the minimum order quantities, are high. You control them, but it's typically going to be like 10 units minimum. You control them, but you can still sell POD there. Like you can still make money selling t-shirts for $17 and tell them to sell them for $35. You know how like we think of selling on Amazon or Etsy as like headaches, but like Fair has great customer support.
It's a B2B marketplace for wholesale retailers. So when people actually own like local brick and mortar physical retail stores, they buy in bulk from here to stock their shelves. Now, what's great is that they're pretty strict for buyers actually. So you're only allowed to buy on here actually if you're a retailer. Like they ask you for your physical store name and other stuff when you sign up. And if you just click on I'm just shopping for myself, it actually rejects you. So you can be absolutely sure that 99% of buyers browsing here are looking to buy in bulk. So completely different audience to what we're normally used to as POD sellers, mainly selling to B2C to consumers, right? Bear with me because obviously while we won't be able to command really high prices per unit, a lot of profit can still be made because you're going to be looking at selling in bulk. As in, all the buyers on here are expecting high MOQ from the sellers. And on the cost side, there's always discounts on shipping that print providers such as, I took this example from Printify, when you give orders for more than one item that sort of just substantially lower the actual cost for what you're buying from the provider. As you can see for this item, I can't remember which one it was, but it cost about $6 to ship one item, but just $3 to ship the next item. And most of the cost for this item is the shipping price. Like the product itself only costs like, $3 or something, and less with Printify Premium. Now, the types of print-on-demand products on Faire will be similar to that on Etsy, so like home decor, paper, mostly aimed at women. So just stuff like this, and you can see that in the selector, they do have minimum order quantities, MOQs of more than one, obviously. They have a pretty impressive 5.3 million visitors per month, these customers all being retail businesses looking to buy in bulk. But something even more remarkable to me, look at this, they've got more than 1,300 active meta ads. So they are absolutely throwing money at meta ads and bringing sellers free traffic. Now, if you're still not convinced about the B2B argument, the thing about businesses is that in general, they tend to spend money a lot more flippantly than individual customers because every purchase is basically an investment for them. They're expecting to make more money than they spend, right? And obviously here, less competition than places like Amazon and Etsy. So watch this space. Underrated opportunity, I reckon. In the meantime, if you want to sell on Faire, go to faire.com and click Sell on Faire in the top right. That should take you to this page where you can sign up for free with your email as a seller. This video is sponsored by Kittl. Now, I've recently switched from Canva to Kittl as my main print-on-demand design tool for two main reasons. Now, there's a lot of reasons to use Kittl. It's designed with print-on-demand in mind, so if you go through all its templates, which are extremely customizable, as well as its graphics and its AI generator, Kittl's design style and elements are a lot more complex and focused towards popular t-shirt design styles for print-on-demand especially. So the entire platform is designed with print-on-demand and commercial merch sellers' needs in mind, as opposed to something like Canva, which is definitely more general. But the two main reasons that I've been using it is, number one, the text distortions and textures feature. I absolutely love this because I used to take Canva fonts and put them into Photoshop to distort the text and add textures to the text using layer masks and all that. But obviously no need here. There may be a roundabout way to do it in other software, but it's so much more complicated than this feature in Kittl that just takes a few clicks without you having to install plugins and all that. But in my opinion, the best thing about Kittl is their transparent business licensing. So you can create and sell designs with 100% peace of mind because they make it very clear that everything on their website you can use commercially, the templates, the graphics. There have been problems with sites like Canva relating to this in the past. To get 25% off your first month or year off a Kittl Pro or Expert plan, use the link in my description to sign up and use code TIAYT, that's TIAYT, to claim your 25% discount. Or if you just want to try out the platform, there is a free plan so you can get used to it before you decide. Now, website number 3 is Etsy, which obviously most of my audience will be familiar with, and probably looking for alternatives at this point. But despite its problems and changes over the years, I do think that Etsy is a good place to sell POD, still, provided that you don't get banned, obviously, and you price your items just a bit higher. Now, for context, I've been an Etsy seller since like 2020, so it's definitely a site that gets you good bang for your effort because of the pretty consistent traffic that it brings. But if you're not familiar with Etsy, it's a crafts marketplace for creative and vintage goods, meaning that anything that you design yourself pretty much can be sold on here. So shirts, mugs, tumblers, calendars, whatever, like custom wacky stuff is now on Printify. Oh, but not supplements. Definitely don't sell supplements on here. But they have made quite a few changes to the platform since I started selling on it anyway. So they have started allowing digital products. New sellers pretty much always go through getting suspended, appealing, and then unsuspended. I've gone through it like 3 times. It is what it is. They've got a lot of spam on there as well, gone through a lot of the changes in leadership as a company. But overall, despite the issues, I think it's still one of the best places to sell POD if you can get on it, because the algorithm and the SEO is quite predictable after you get used to it, and a lot of keyword research tools are now available for it. So really easy to find out what kind of stuff sells and also easy to list on it. Great place to just test ideas. I just sort of throw stuff up and see if it sells. and then take the energy to take those selling designs and then upload to different marketplaces, right? Because you're not going to have the time and energy to upload to 17 different marketplaces. Anyway, moving on. So lots of traffic, 413.5 million visits in the last month, and ranked number 13 in US marketplaces. So not lacking traffic by any means. However, keep in mind that there's a good amount of competition, at least for the popular keywords. So the number of sellers kind of exploded during the pandemic. Even though the numbers themselves are high, many of these are just empty accounts that didn't end up making any sales. Now, Etsy also not holding back on the ad spending. So currently 900 active Meta ad campaigns that they're paying for. Yeah, that is Etsy. So if you haven't already, you can sign up as a seller by clicking the link in my description to get 40 free listings. Sort of an affiliate link because I get 40 free listings as well. So it's a win-win for both of us. Now, number 4 is eBay. Most of you have probably sold or bought something on eBay, I imagine, before. So the big providers, that's Printify, Printful, both have an integration with eBay as well. So definitely recommend people to try this one. I do have to say something about eBay though, in terms of why I personally don't sell on eBay. So I have an eBay personal account that's still kind of valid and I can buy stuff with it. But when I tried to open a business account from the same address, I got banned within like an hour. And I remember discussing this with Ryan at some point, but we basically came to the conclusion that that was most likely caused by my business address, because I own a limited company in the UK and the address used is a rented address in the UK, not my personal address, for privacy reasons. Now that address is shared between multiple UK businesses. So in the past, it could have been associated with some other business that got suspended or did something dodgy on eBay, something like that, right? And I thought I should just mention, okay, not to complicate the situation anymore, but just be, transparent about things that I have heard can go wrong. Just to warn you, I've heard of some people having integration issues with these providers as well on eBay. So if you are concerned about that, then don't integrate. Just fulfill the orders through dropshipping, like enter the address into the provider. Either way, hopefully you don't run into any issues like I did and you can get set up, because eBay is a very good source of free traffic. 632 million visits per month. Number 3 in US marketplaces. I know this traffic number has decreased relatively in comparison to Etsy though, but still a good amount. Currently running 230 paid Meta ads at the moment, which is less than what I expected, but they're just strong for organic and people know the name eBay, so that's, I imagine, where they get a lot of the traffic from. Sign up as an eBay seller, go to ebay.com and click on sell in the top right, which will let you list an item. If you're really serious about eBay, I would still suggest signing up as a business account rather than an individual account if you can. If you own an LLC or LTD, despite what happened to me, because these websites do tend to take business accounts more seriously, you get benefits, you get a bunch of perks, taxes, admin, stuff like that all becomes a lot easier as a business account. Number 5, we have tech giant Amazon. Obviously, biggest site on this list, almost 3 billion monthly visitors. But did you know there's actually 3 ways to sell POD fulfilled items on Amazon, and I'll be going through all of those today. And with all those 3 methods, your products will get pushed to the Amazon website, which is obviously massive. Everyone shops on Amazon. But not gonna lie, it's a little bit strange looking at how many Meta ads Amazon runs, because, 2 big tech giants. But I did it anyway, and they do not disappoint. So 2,100 active ads by the world's biggest e-commerce site on the world's biggest social network. So enough said. When I say selling POD on Amazon, most people will think of Amazon Merch on Demand. This used to be called Merch by Amazon. This is their selective program where you have to apply to become a seller. And then they let you sell designs on these various products, which, this is a great source of free traffic if you can get into it. However, there is that application process, and that can be hard for some people to get into. I've heard it's based on country, but nobody really knows what their criteria are. Myself included, I've applied 5 times to Amazon Merch on Demand, and I've still been rejected. So it's really luck of the draw. I've heard people getting in on their 10th try apparently. So just try it, but don't be too disheartened if you can't get in like me, because there are 2 other ways to sell POD on Amazon that I'm going to talk to you about now. And obviously the rest of the websites on this whole list. Now, just a word about accounts. Be careful buying Amazon merch on demand accounts, because I know there's some people selling them around. I personally would not do this because they could shut you down at any time if they find out, because it's technically against terms of service to sell accounts, right? So you will lose a lot of work, and I think it's just better to try something else instead, another website or method, and have peace of mind about your account health, right? So what about the other ways? Well, the second way is to sign up for an Amazon Seller Central account, which lets you push products directly to the Amazon marketplace like all the other independent sellers on Amazon. You can pretty much sell any POD product here, or any product using fulfillment providers, just like any other Amazon seller selling like protein powder or electronics or anything like that. What you do is you use FBM, or fulfillment by merchant, instead of FBA, which involves shipping inventory to Amazon warehouses. That's the one we commonly hear of, but not the one we use here. The one used here is FBM, okay? So Printful, popular provider, has had an Amazon integration for a while now, and excitingly, Printify have just introduced their Amazon Seller Central integration. Honestly, fantastic news. I've wanted this for so long. Previously, the only way I saw to import addresses and orders automatically from Amazon Seller Central, without typing them in every single time, was to connect your Amazon account to Shopify with some app that costs like $5 a month, and then connect your Shopify to Printify. So it's a pretty roundabout way of doing things, obviously. Now, you can still do this if you use another provider, for example, Gelato or something, right? If it doesn't integrate with Seller Central, but Printify is a good choice nowadays. It's very helpful that it's directly integrated. Now, Seller Central is the best way to sell POD on Amazon, in my opinion, because you have the most control over your products and branding. I mean, it's still Amazon's brand at the end of the day, but this is the one that gives you the most control. And unlike merch on demand, you can actually brand your products, and you can sell loads of products that merch don't offer. So if you get rejected from merch on demand, this is a great option to consider, because it's just open to almost everyone. There is an application process though. If you want to sign up as a business account or get brand registry, which involves getting trademarks and all sorts of stuff, it's a bit more complicated, but if you're willing to go through the effort, then I would recommend that over starting as an individual seller, because the business account gives you the access to so many more features, and from what I've heard, it's really annoying to convert between the account types once you've registered. Yeah, that's enough. Let me know if you want a dedicated video on signing up to Seller Central and brand registry and all that, because I have successfully gone through that pretty recently actually, so I'm not going to be taking any more time to talk about that in this video. Now, the third way to sell POD is low content books via Amazon KDP, which stands for Kindle Direct Publishing. So you can sell digital but also physically printed books on demand here. Now, if you're wanting to sell POD, you're probably not writing whole novels like this, but more looking towards something called low content books. So things with defined interiors, but possibly different cover designs, for example, like notebooks, diaries, schedules, planners. And you can do this with various tools like BookBolt, or just buy templates online. I know I've seen quite a few KDP interior templates on Etsy. Now, KDP has been on my radar for a while, even though I personally haven't tried it yet, but I've seen various things. Some people say it's pretty competitive nowadays. Other people say, you just gotta research the right niches, as with all the other marketplaces. I think it's likely a combination of both, but I know that some people are making pretty decent money with KDP, so it's definitely an option to consider if you're interested in selling something other than the classic shirts and mugs and stuff with POD, right? To get started on KDP, you can go to kdp.amazon.com, and that should be the first link when you Google it, and then you click on Join KDP. Number 6 is Walmart. Again, massive US retailer, and another one suggested to me by Ryan. 477 million visits a month. Now, Walmart is running 3,100 ads on Meta, so even more than Amazon. It doesn't necessarily mean they're spending more in terms of ad budget, by the way. So that just means that they're testing more creatives. So it's like Seller Central. You can pretty much sell any POD product, but it does seem to have a lot less competition at the moment. So get in if you can. Now, do note that if you're based outside of the US, you can still sell on it, but you will need a US EIN, or Employer Identification Number. Now, I believe that you can do this by filling in an SS4 form with the IRS, but it's best you double check that because, again, I have not gone through this particular process myself. If I do, I will probably put out some information about it. But yeah, that's Walmart. So if you are interested, you can go to marketplace.walmart.com and click Join Marketplace. Now, number 7, the one that I said might surprise a lot of people, is Shopify. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why is Shopify on this list? That's not a marketplace. That's a website builder. Like, you have to drive traffic to it yourself with social media or paid ads, right? Well, let me enlighten you, because you can actually access not just 1, but 2 free marketplaces and get organic traffic from browsing shoppers on these marketplaces by simply uploading products to a Shopify store. I know, it's absolutely mind-blowing. I was definitely very excited when I heard about this. Now, the first marketplace is Google's very own shopping marketplace tab. So if you search for something like funny t-shirts in Google and then click on shopping, it will take you to this page here. Now, all of these that you're seeing are paid Google ads. But if we scroll down a little, we will see some organic shopping listings being displayed. Now, some spots are obviously being taken up by listings from big sites with good organic reach, such as Amazon, such as Etsy, right? But there are independent websites as well that can rank on this marketplace. Shopify shows you where your traffic comes from for sales if it can detect that. So here's an example of a sale that I made for free using Google Shopping. I know it's free. I did not run Google ads, and ignore the fact that it says CPC. I don't know why that's there. Here's another sale that I made from free Google Shopping listings in June this year. And I did that by uploading products and just making them available on my Shopify store. Now, in order to set up my store to show products in Google Shopping, you have to sign up to Google Merchant Center and connect your listings under free listings. This should not take too long, and it's a fantastic source of free traffic because, as we all know, Google search results, so that's not Google Shopping, but Google search, is extremely competitive nowadays. If you want to know more about that, I'll link a video down below where I talk in more detail about how I did this, and there's plenty of other tutorials on YouTube as well. Just search like Google Merchant Center, Shopify, something like that. Now, obviously, Google is massive, 84 billion visits per month, and that's just google.com. So the US version, if your listings show up for Google in other countries as well, and you can offer worldwide shipping, that is way more people. Now, the second marketplace you can get exposure to just by uploading POD products to Shopify is called Shop. This is like Shopify's secret marketplace, and it's an app as well. But look at this, you can just find products from random brands on Shopify mixed in here. And Shop has pretty decent traffic, obviously not as much as places like Amazon, most other marketplaces. The app, I don't know if that's too small for you guys to see, but it has 478K ratings. So if we multiply that by 10 to get the approximate amount of downloads, assuming 1 in 10 users leave a rating, that's a 4 to 5 million people on the app in addition to that. So if you want your Shopify products to show up in the Shop marketplace, all you have to do is turn on the Shop sales channel whenever you activate a new product. Now, I personally haven't got any sales from the Shop marketplace yet, but I have got some traffic from it, so it's definitely one to turn on. And just a word about asset building. The great thing about Shopify is that firstly, it's your own website and domain, so you're less likely to get banned from places, less likely than other marketplaces like Amazon and Etsy, where sellers get banned all the time. And I say less likely because Shopify can still suspend you if you're doing outright illegal things, but that is for another video. But on top of that, what's more important is that you're building your domain and customer list, right? So essentially your own asset, like a proper business that you can sell down the line, as opposed to something like an Etsy or merch account that's technically against terms of service to transfer to someone else. So I think it's a much better option than completely relying on external marketplaces. And now you know that you can get organic marketplace traffic by just uploading to Shopify. Number 8 is Zazzle. Now you may have heard of Zazzle as a place to shop for wedding related things. That's, typically what sells best here. It's pretty Etsy-like with mostly middle/upper middle class female audience, that demographic. However, this is a POD marketplace, so you can upload designs to things like shirts, mugs, cards, invitations, other such products. Now, I have been told by Zazzle sellers that the upload process is annoying, but the website seems to have changed since I last went on it, so it seems like they have revamped a lot of things, which is probably a good sign. Zazzle.com itself has about 8 million visits per month, so pretty decent for a niche site. There's also Zazzle.co.uk and etc. for other countries, right? So that will add a bit of traffic. If you're wanting to sell wedding designs, maybe you have some uploaded in other marketplaces, then this is definitely a good place to put them as well. Currently running 92 active ads on Meta, bringing paid traffic, as you can see here. So that is all cool. It's obviously a popular place to sell POD. But despite that, I do have to point out something that annoys me about Zazzle. And it's not just Zazzle, but some other websites as well that I'll be mentioning later, which is that they have this create your design element on their marketplace. And that's before all the designs by the independent sellers. So, so customers can create designs, and that is the first thing that they see when they browse, and that's not helpful for sellers because I think it just devalues the added value of the design process if they're immediately encouraging customers to make their own, right? But I know that some people have made decent money on it, so it's just another option on this list for traffic. So to start selling on Zazzle, you can go to zazzle.com, and on the sidebar you should see a button that says sell, and you can click on that and then click on start selling today. Number 9 is Redbubble. Now, if you watch my channel for a while, you'll know that I have some history with Redbubble. It was my first print-on-demand website, so I can definitely give you some tips on it. I was able to make a couple thousand on it. I've got loads of accounts, and I used to test different niches and keywords and all sorts of random stuff. I think it's just a good one for complete beginners to try because it's so straightforward. Basically, if you want to make money on this website, what you do is you just go on this free keyword research tool. It's called Bubble Spider. There used to be one back in the day as well called Bubble Trends, but this one is better for sure. You just sort by competition. You avoid the stuff that's not your intellectual property, which unfortunately is most of it, and then you just create designs around the rest of the trending keywords. That's basically it. It's not rocket science. You get views and favorites and sales and stuff just by doing that. Now, Redbubble is mostly known for stickers, so small margins. That's what people usually come here for. I guess if you're wanting to sell on here, then knowing how to upload transparent PNGs is going to be a good skill to have. But the thing I did like about this site was that when you upload one design, you can then position it on 70 or something different products. And then you can also decide when to turn them on and off. And each of these would create a new URL slug for you. So it would 70x your chance of getting found on Google, even if most of the products look like trash because the design just did not fit right. Now, I did a lot of experimentation on this site back in the day before I started Shopify and Etsy, which in my opinion are worth my time a lot more. But I personally haven't uploaded here in years. They have made a lot of changes as well. They introduced a tier system with fees for the lower tiers. So basically they got flooded with spam. It was just such a low barrier to entry, anyone could make an account. But as I said, I think it's still a good one to get started if you want to make your very first sale online. If you want to know more, there is a video on my channel about it and kind of why I moved on. It's called The Truth About Redbubble or something. I'll link it up there and down there. But yeah, still good source of free traffic. You got about 20 million visitors a month. It's ranked 33 in the US for arts and entertainment. Currently running 550 active Meta ads, and they love to run Google retargeting ads as well. So the ads just sort of follow you around until you buy, and those are really good for marketing. So start selling on Redbubble. Go to redbubble.com, and at the top you should see a button that says sell your art. If you click on that, that will take you to this page and you can click on start selling. Number 10, how can we talk about Redbubble without talking about TeePublic? Really can't, can we? So this is basically like Redbubble, but with less products. But obviously, instead of stickers, t-shirts tend to sell best on this website. Now, TeePublic actually got acquired by Redbubble in 2018, I believe. Yeah, very similar. I've sold on it and I still make money on it. It's just another one that I haven't uploaded to in years, but I can give you some old school tips, I guess, which are mainly just to upload to Redbubble first, see what sells, and then upload whatever sells on Redbubble to this place, basically. At least that's how I did it. So I guess you can see trends from the search bar, you know, doing that thing where you type in a letter of the alphabet and then you see what results come up, if you know what I mean. That trick also works on Redbubble. That's definitely one research method you can use if you want to get sales on here. Now, in terms of my own personal experience, I had an issue with my TeePublic account where they said that my designs were not searchable on the marketplace. So when people type in things into the search bar, they would not be able to find my designs, which is obviously alarming, you would think. Like, they emailed me saying that the designs would never be searchable, but I still somehow made sales, and I had Google Analytics connected up to my account so that I could see most of the traffic was coming from their Google CPC ads. So it actually doesn't matter if you don't show up in the marketplace, but this was a while ago, so I will link the relevant video up there and down there. So the types of products that TeePublic lets you sell are basically these. A little less than half the traffic Redbubble brings in, which isn't bad, seeing as there's a lot less competition. But if your designs are not even searchable like mine, then all your traffic will probably get pulled from Google. They're currently running 440 meta ads. So to sign up to TeePublic, go to teepublic.com and then click on artist sign up, which will take you to this page where you can create an account. And I've just noticed that it says 75 products, which is actually quite a lot. It's definitely grown since I last went on it. But yeah, another source of free traffic, and just be aware that even if you don't show up in the marketplace, that doesn't mean you cannot make sales. Number 11 is Threadless. So it's kind of similar to the last two marketplaces, but with less spam. So basically another alternative. If something turns you off both those previous ones, you can definitely try this one. These are the different product categories available for printing, and I think artsy stuff like you would see on TeePublic tends to sell better here as expected. And one way you can do research on this website I was talking about earlier is to type in a letter into the search bar, and then you can see the names and icons of the designs that, well, I'm not actually sure if these are like best-selling designs necessarily. They're being suggested, so obviously the website thinks that there's some merit to these design styles and they can provide some inspiration for you to follow. Threadless gets about 1.3 million visits per month. It's ranked 968 in US fashion and apparel. Obviously not the most impressive numbers we've seen on this list, but with less traffic comes less competition. So if you've got designs, why not just bang them on here as well? They're currently running 29 active meta ads on our behalf at this moment. Start selling on Threadless. Go to threadless.com and click on sell your art. Number 12 is Displate, and this is a place to buy metal posters, which people use as wall art. So yeah, it's just a really well branded one product website essentially. They do sell accessories and gifts, but the main product people come here is just posters, which obviously have a sort of different design style that sells well in comparison to something like t-shirt designs where you'll be seeing a lot more text. Stats on the front page of the site say that there's 1.5 million artworks on the site, so there's your competition number, and I would assume that 3.2 million is like number of purchases of some kind, but can't really be sure, and 5 million website visitors per month according to them. Now, SimilarWeb's estimate is about 4 million per month, so I mean they're probably going to be more accurate because they have the actual back-end analytics, but it doesn't make a huge difference as long as you know the traffic number is in that ballpark of about 3 to 5 million a month. They're running a lot of active meta ads as well, so 620 meta ads at the time of making this video. Start selling on Displate. Go to displate.com and scroll down to the bottom and then click on sell your art under earn by Displate. That should take you to this page that says contact us. So unlike the other marketplaces where you can just sign up right there, you have to email them and show them your portfolio. I mean, it seems annoying, but even a small barrier to entry like this can help filter out some competition. So if you see it that way. Number 13 is Spreadshirt. So you get the drill by now. Most pretty much sell all the normal products. So like t-shirts, hoodies, accessories. It's a good source of organic traffic, obviously, but this is another one of those websites where create custom products feature is just too prominent for my liking. I don't think it's the best in terms of branding, like marketing the independent sellers on the website. They do have over 250 products, so that is a lot of products. About 1 million visits per month, and there's also spreadshirt.co.uk, spreadshirt.com.au. Currently running 7 paid ads on Meta. Start selling on Spreadshirt. Go to spreadshirt.com and click on Start Selling up here. Number 14 is Design by Humans. This place is mostly known for t-shirts from what I can tell, but they sell all these kinds of products on screen right now. You can't really do keyword research on here per se, but if we go to the trending section, so you can see this is the kind of stuff that sells on here. Pretty artsy type designs. I just didn't see many plain text type things that tend to sell better on places like Amazon. This site gets around 386k visits per month. Not a massive amount, I know, but it is another place just to upload designs to. Reasonable organic traffic following though, on Instagram as well. 443k follows on Facebook, so that's some additional traffic. Pretty strong on the social front. And the socials do make up about 1/4 of the website traffic overall. They are currently running 2 paid ads and 1 has been running since April, so that one's clearly working for them. And remember, less ad creatives doesn't necessarily mean more money spent. They're just more selective about the ads that they're using, right? Start selling on Design by Humans. Go to designbyhumans.com and scroll to the bottom and then click on Open a Store. That should take you to this page where you can sign up, and then you do have to provide a portfolio for them to approve. But once you are approved, you will be able to upload designs to this website. Number 15 is T Fury. As you can see, kind of similar to TeePublic in the way that they display the designs up front, and then they sort of let the customers choose a product on a design that they like. These are the types of products that they offer, and the usual ones, so t-shirts, stuff like that, you're used to, plus some interesting ones actually. They've got biker shorts and sleep shorts. Now in terms of research, this can be done here by typing in a letter, so you can see the popular suggestions here. Now another interesting thing about this search bar is that they show you there's 11k-ish items available on the site, and that is very useful to know because that is not much competition at all. Like, most sites have uploads in the millions. They've got less than 200k visits a month, so sort of lowest on this list, but as we've been through, less traffic equals less competition usually, and the early uploaders are always the ones that end up making a lot of money if the websites take off. Like, if you just look at the people that uploaded to Redbubble in like 2010 who end up on the front page years later and end up making like thousands off of one design, right? So now T Fury are not currently running Meta ads, only website on this list that's not. So obviously they have other traffic sources, but that is something to be aware of in terms of how willing they are to pay for traffic for their artists. And click on artists in the top right corner. That should take you to this page where you can create a profile and sign up as an artist. Number 16, our penultimate website is Society6. This is a POD site that lets you sell home decor mostly. Like, you can buy apparel here. They have t-shirts and all that. But most people come here for home decor and decorations, especially wall art. Now, I have seen YouTube videos and forums of people that have made a good amount of money on the types of designs that sell well. Include things like this, so think like artistic patterns, that sort of thing. Gets around 2 million visits per month, so it's good traffic, and it's ranked 31 in visual arts and design in the US. Very strong social following as well, always a bonus. So they've got 856k followers on Instagram, almost 1 million followers on Facebook, and they are running 23 paid ads on Facebook. That's a decent amount of ads to be running at the same time. And remember, they're paying for all this traffic for you. Start selling on Society6. Go to society6.com and scroll to the bottom and then click on Sell Your Art. That should take you to this page, and you can click click on start selling to get started. Number 17 is cafepress.com, which offers these categories, as you can see here. Now you can do a very crude research just by clicking on the search bar, and you can see trending keywords. So obviously elections coming up, Donald Trump and anti-Donald Trump, both trending, typical stuff really. But you can also see some commonly searched terms. Again, be careful about IP. Now, unfortunately, you cannot just type in a letter of the alphabet and see the popular search terms that way, I'm afraid. If we take a look at the best sellers, obviously they're allowing political stuff on here. I know some websites are a bit touchy about that, so I've personally avoided the politics niche previously, well, except for making things like encourage people to vote, stuff like that, because it doesn't really fit with my Shopify brand image either. But if you feel comfortable, or if you're sort of politically aligned, then don't let me stop you. Also, I've just noticed if this design looks familiar to anyone, I think that's because it's the #1 best-selling design on Redbubble for a while. I don't know if it's the same seller or someone ripped it off. I hope not. So Cafe Press has 1 million visits per month. So, even though I feel like it's slept on because it's a very old site now, it's still got a lot of good traffic here. And there's also cafepress.co.uk. That should bring in slightly more traffic. They've got 11.5k followers on Instagram, 565k followers on Facebook, which is a good amount. They're currently running 5 paid Meta ad campaigns. And I'm sure that some of you will notice that they are all political and they're all left. If you want to see a list of 13 digital product marketplaces that you can make money on for free, check out this video on screen right now. Many thanks to Kittl for sponsoring this video. Use the link below and enter code TIAYT, that's TIAYT, for 25% off your first month or year of the Pro or Expert plan. And I'll see you guys in the next one.